Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derbies and the 2016 Bash for Cash. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash in Capital City Carnage. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to what very reasonably could have been Crash Course Unplugged. Good God, we got a fun show on deck apparently. Hang on one second, Brian Tompkins. I was trying to let all you guys get it out of your system so that you guys could joke and laugh and everything in the background, and I would do an open so you guys could talk amongst yourselves.
No, we don't want to do that stuff.
No, listen. You want to go right to Brandon.
No, listen.
That's where I wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a show open planned out.
All right. Well, so yeah, but it's more fun when we just play it by the seat of our pants. Hey, we just want everybody to know there was some stuff going on last week on the internet, and it is official. We took a straw vote. Josh Decker has been fired and is no longer part of Crash Course.
Thank you.
So we just wanted to get that out amongst everybody.
And I'm gone. And
hey, there he is! I don't know who he was. I walked in and I hadn't seen him in like 6 months.
I'm sweating already just from listening to the laughing I've done already.
Jesus Christ! Look at that! Look at the lean on that couch. Josh is leaning on top of Ben, and Ben can't get far enough away from him.
Sorry about
Josh is pimping, man. It's like he's in the '63 Impala with hydros on it, man. He's
sitting on different.
Listen to Tupac.
The only difference is that Josh is here.
You know it's not going to be a good show.
It's not. It's
you're going to get a lot of hate mail from today. And we have Mark Benjamin, so you get even more hate mail today.
It's true.
You know?
Oh, I forgot to mute my phone.
Mark's going to say, no, everyone loves me.
Mark, welcome. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Brett's joining us here in studio as well. Ian Doyle, thanks for tuning in. Now that I'll get that muted so that we don't have to hear that go off all show because Josh is here, so I'm sure the hate mail will be rolling in any minute.
Yep.
We're going to be talking with...
Going
to be catching up with Vic Whaley after winning at Metal Mayhem. Going to be talking with him a little bit. Going to be catching up with Brett about his win in the mod class. And Mark Benjamin, congratulations are in order. 5 in a row now at Bath on Father's Day. It's not too bad.
4 at Bath, 1 at Schmuck.
That's awesome. And you used the same car for all of them.
Yeah.
And it's still straight.
I got rid of the Fords. Look caddy this time.
You look better in an old iron, I have to be honest. You drove just as slow, but you looked way better in old iron.
Was it fun?
Yeah, no, it was a fun ride. It was rough, though. I mean, I don't pipe the shocks so much on the back, but that was the rules, and I don't know if I like that in a Cadillac.
No.
It makes it hard when you go out with just a couple friends. You know what I mean? There's when you want to run hard, but yet you don't want hard feelings. And there's 4 or 5 friends on the track. Ideally, you want to say, well, it's going to be like a backyard derby. Let's just let it go and have a good time. But it never works quite the way as you want it to.
Never bothered him before.
Well, it doesn't bother him. It doesn't bother him per se. It's everyone else on the track.
Yeah, years ago, you catch you off guard. And
because
Brett's like, oh, I didn't see you over there.
3 out of the 5 of us have been knocked out of our seats by Brett before.
Oh man,
yeah.
At least once or twice.
Many times.
Yeah, Mark and I were just talking about that.
I've been knocked out of my seat by Mark, as a matter of fact, too.
Yeah, but all on defense. When I bumped into you, it was because my throttle was stuck.
Yeah,
at Waterloo. And
Mark
and
knocked it loose.
And Mark told me to.
Yeah, well,
and Mark told me to.
At least we know right up front.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it is not fun going against.
See, but I received 2 hits from that. First was from Brian, and then Brett hitting Brian. No sooner than I get up off the passenger side, Brett hits Brian.
They knocked the back out of the passenger seat, so imagine how it felt with me.
Yeah,
that was great.
I thought that was a true sandbag. I thought maybe we were just taking a nap.
Yeah.
That was like a 70, what was that, 77 Pontiac wagon or something.
Yeah.
He got it the day before the show.
I drove it home, knocked the windows out of it.
Waterloo.
Yep.
That's the good old days right there.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about when you guys all ran compacts.
No.
There
I
was
didn't
no
make
such
it that
thing.
Yeah,
year.
you didn't make it. Mark did. Mark did. And guess what? We were running on the same team, and he still knocked me out of my seat. But he did say sorry afterwards. That was nice of him.
I heard DQ'd for hitting my partner in the driver's door.
And let the record show that there wasn't a drop of rain that fell that night, and somehow there was 5 gallons of water in my driver's seat when I went to go out. Right, Benji?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's all right. Yeah, I got a brain like an elephant. I remember like an elephant.
Piss on your seat? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
I'm not sure
5
what it was.
gallons.
That's an
but it was
old
wet.
school. This guy, you're
5 gallon bucket of water.
We did that. We did that to Beatty. We put that liquid ass from.
You got to put that on there, and then you got to hook a couple.
Well, it was funny because we
Hot
wanted to get in his
water
car,
to
and
the
all of a sudden he
seat
took
started
off
throwing
dry
up.
even.
Yeah, he started throwing up. It wasn't funny. I remember that. I was there. I was staying away from you guys.
It's a wonder you didn't stab
I stayed
somebody.
away from you guys that night.
Didn't Josh Buell piss in somebody's
Motorhome. It was in my
Motorhome.
motorhome.
It's the
Right before I
motorhome.
pulled out, I looked
Right.
back
Yeah.
and he's in the back pissing on the pisser. Thank you.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
motorhome derbies are terrible.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
Definitely not safe.
No. Chris, what do you think?
All right. Well,
Let's do your opener now.
Yeah, go back to the opener now.
now I
We're
got to
5 minutes
remember
late.
it all. Couple of congratulations to give out. Cody Riley winning in the Weld Class at Canasteraga. Found that out. Tracy Young, second place, had a great run out there as well. Sam Williams and Chris Williams went 1 and 2.
Who
at
won?
a
Who was
derby.
second? I didn't get that.
And doesn't matter.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Probably Sam. That kid's got to earn his lunch.
Just wondered if the kid beat the old man.
Saw a bunch of
No, he
pictures
didn't.
that Candace had posted. They were up in Corcoran, Minnesota. They got that. Condolences to Wayne Brown. I saw his father had passed away. Tommy Dowd is his birthday today.
The OG of Derby.
Yeah. Yes. KO Motorsports welcoming a baby into the world in the last week. Crystal Valley RC had their first demolition derby. For the first time, we had to run heats, a constant a feature. In the RC world, there was 18 cars, and everything came home twisted except for mine because it was not only cheated, it also didn't make the feature, and it didn't run very long in the heat. First hit, I got sent over the wall, out of the park, gone.
I don't want to start a rumor, but that's the second time that Chris has almost got loaded for having a cheated RC car.
It was completely legal. There was some
just
stuff
saying,
that they had to take.
I don't want to start a rumor, but Chris is playing in the gray in the old RC world.
because I had
You
to.
got to cheat to win.
I don't
That's
know about you jerks.
Brett? What's your feeling on that?
Did we hit all of it? And then the biggest news probably out of all this is the passing of Brandon Reinhardt, which I know that hit a lot of people hard. John Cash and the folks from Confederate States. Jamie Frost, he just noticed that Josh Decker was back and asked if we brought in a new co-host because he didn't recognize your face.
Thank you, Jimmy. For that long?
How could you miss that Roman nose?
Stop.
Been broken 35 times by Brett.
It's true. But a couple times, actually. I
Well,
put my face on the steering wheel.
Cyoppa's two placed first
Yeah,
and
first and second. Mark
Down
and
to
Todd
Alex.
won, and Mark was second.
All new
Todd,
Alex,
Todd
yeah.
had his famous paint his car all up
for Brandon.
for Brandon.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
So
Another friend of theirs whose aunt had passed away from cancer, I believe.
that was from Frangio.
Okay, yes.
His
But I
wife.
saw, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Chris touched on it, though.
her name
Brandon.
was on that.
that was
Brandon passed
everybody's adopted son, cousin, brother, you name it. He had a huge demolition derby family, and I was
Heartbreaking.
yeah, it was some tough news to come across, and we saw the pictures and the updates and everything as they're coming through, and it was starting to look bad, and everybody was certainly wishing Brandon well, and I know that hit Florida pretty hard. Those guys were taking that. They were sharing a lot of pictures and stuff, and I mean it was great to see the support that rallied around Brandon because it was a kid that completely loved it after,
Yes.
and it came on the heels of all of that falsehood, you know, the huge hoax,
Yep.
Yep.
and everybody completely rallied around it all the same and embraced this kid. You know, when everybody could have been real skeptical, they grabbed right a hold of it and really supported Brandon strong, which was awesome to see. And at the T-Bone Memorial, I believe the number was $6,000 that was raised for Emily and CJ.
Barnes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's a big chunk to get them overseas for that experimental
That's
therapy
terrific.
that she's looking to undergo. It's going to be tough on that family, but hopefully that experimental stuff pans out for them, and good step there. And that trailer, as far as I know, that trailer's still being raffled off. Ultimate Derby, they're going to be giving that away at Blizzard Bash here. in a couple weeks. They've got the Battleground to get through before that, so everybody will have a chance to see that trailer in person, and tickets are going to be sold with that, with Sam Williams and whole Ultimate Derby crew. In the interim with that, did that hit all the headlines?
Yeah,
I think it hit everything.
you hit there was a lot of stuff right there. A lot of stuff that happened.
That's how the show usually starts, Josh. I know you probably haven't had time in your busy schedule to tune
I haven't
into
been here
any of the
since-
last 30 that you haven't been to.
Yeah, well.
I don't think you've been
He's
a free
actually
sample
been
of
tuning
Carnage, have
in
you?
because he tells me I suck after every show.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Yeah, see, I've been tuning in. Well, I tell him he's not good.
Yeah.
Why do you tell him that?
I keep him fired up. I know how Ben works.
he-
Got to keep him motivated.
Yeah, but what happens when you push him a little too far and he drives to your house and kills
He
you?
knocks your face in. That's all right. Hey, we're friends. I'll forgive him.
Hey, tell me again why you decided to put a 904 transmission in that when you knew it was going to pull up with Ben shifting it.
At first, I didn't know Ben was going to be driving it.
You offered it to
hindsight,
him. You
you know,
offered it to him
in
on the
hindsight.
show. I remember it was this phone that you
Yes.
called in on, and it was that microphone that I
Someone
put
should
it
have
up
said,
to.
like, yeah, that
Chris,
904 is
he
not
told
going
me, he says, I don't really want to get my car hurt. And I want to put a tranny in the day.
a shitty tranny. Yeah.
I do know one thing. If that son of a bitch would have dropped in low and would have got it one more time,
You'd have
it
tracked
would-
somebody.
It would have been hurt.
Yeah.
Because Klinger's old lady was going to get it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
100%.
She's the one that needed to. You
She
know,
was the one to beat.
She was the one to beat
she
that
was the
whole
one to
heat,
beat.
without a doubt.
And that
See,
motor actually
I
got.
tell you, Tiffany,
That was a good run.
She could drive.
she's
great.
She's
the real deal.
She broke me. I mean, she took me out. And
Pinion brake and slider and all, you know.
Well, no comment. Yeah, I agree. They're tough to beat anytime.
Yeah.
I was telling Brett, because I can't ever, and if Klinger's listening, I can't ever get Klinger to talk to me. I get like one sentence out of him, and I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't like me, and I hope I can change that. But I look up to that guy. He's like fucking badass. He's like a
shit,
true.
Me and Mike's derbied hardcore a couple times, and he
Hartford
always-
Fair, a lot of
Yeah.
times. That was a lot of fun to
Yeah.
watch. That was
That
a ton of
actually
fun.
was the same motor. He said that was the same motor out of her car that was in his car for King's Old School.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing something right,
Yeah, he is.
and he stays quiet about it, which is again why he's a badass.
Mike's-
He don't go
Mike's
around
quiet no matter
flashing
what.
it, you know.
Mike's a good dude. Tiffany, I
is.
mean, I'm telling you, they're badasses. They're
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
she wanted to take out the competition before the show with the golf cart. She was joking when she come up behind us. I was like, she goes, take out the competition now. And I turned around and looked, and here's her and somebody else in the golf cart smiling ear to ear, laughing, joking.
She
You know,
hit
having
me
a
in
good
the
time
ass
with
with a
it.
bash, and my neck hit the speaker stuff. I knew she wasn't joking.
Yeah, how do you like that? That's not very fun, is it,
Could you
buddy?
imagine though getting to
I
work
need-
with
I
your
need
old
a
lady
better-
building
I
cars,
needed a better
and,
hiding spot that time.
and your old lady's winning money? You know, damn.
Yeah, she's,
Not only is she there with you, but then she's out there kicking ass, winning money. It's
yeah,
damn, this
and
girl's-
she is. I mean, she'll drive as hard as anybody.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great driver.
I don't know
There's
if
no
I've ever
figure-
seen her bag.
No.
They've won a ton of shows when I was out in eastern Pennsylvania, in Kempton and Cuttstown and Allentown and stuff.
I says to,
They
I
were
says
crazy.
to Mike at Kings of Old School, I says, Mike, when'd you start on this caddy? Because it was clean. He says, I did it Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, what?
That was one of the cleanest caddies I've ever seen.
Yeah, but he did it in 2 days. He says, well, it ain't bad. I took everything. It takes me 2 days to get the ambition to strip them.
Yes. Yes.
Then another 2 days you get whoever's going to strip and do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quite the comedian.
Does Klinger have a group though that works on cars with him, or is it
Yeah,
just them?
it's Mike Klinger and Tiffany Hahn.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well,
think
I was
he
watching the
stayed
one
pretty
video.
closed.
I was watching the one video, and it came down like there was those. It was him and her and like one other guy. I didn't remember where it was, somewhere in Pennsylvania, and they were beating on each other before the other. I mean, beating on each other before the other guy was done, and then they stuffed him away. And
Was
then
that when they were in a green? Klinger's in a green car, and he's in it's in-car camera. Right?
Yes.
I watched the exact one. I know what one you're talking
and
about.
they were pounding on each
and
other.
I remember saying that in my head, like, "Go over here," and they were
He was
just
probably pissed off at him that day.
well. Probably.
I'm telling you what, and it was they were pounding. It wasn't soft shots. They were hitting each other hard, and they were still a third car running. I'm like,
That was probably Smith runs with him a lot.
yeah.
yeah, I don't
He's
know
good
who
too.
the other guy was.
He's real
He's
good.
the one that was out the bash with him last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he had that yellow Buick at Kings of Old School.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He ran the Consi.
Yeah, 32 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good shit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he texted me the night before. He says, you know, I might be late. He says, we were in the emergency room last night. Just get here, you know.
They're a good group.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
They
good.
really are a good group.
Very good.
Still don't mean you don't want to hit them at 60.
No, they're those guys that like you're happy they come to derbies, but then when you see them, you're like, damn it.
Well, no,
You know?
you like that. I mean, you slap at that one. I mean, you got to go right at it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't let off.
No,
He's
you can't
coming.
just throw a jab
I mean,
and run away.
Look at his odds. I mean, he was the odd duck out.
Held his own.
Once Munch was out, he was the odd duck out in that feature, and he held his own.
Tell me Munch didn't do. He ran it.
Munch was sending stuff.
Not only he won the heavy hitter trophy, he won the Mad Dog car. Then his wife won the free Lincoln for a spectator car. He's
awesome.
like, Brett, I can't get these cars home. I'm like, I'll get them back to Wego.
That's funny.
That was
To this weekend's results, Vic Whaley finally breaking through to win Metal Mayhem. Congratulations, Vic. What's it like to be called Metal Mayhem champion, man?
It feels pretty good. I've been chasing it for a long time.
Finally
have.
came through with it. It was no easy path at all either. You had to go out there. You're out there for over 2 hours, bringing the car out there to finally cash that check. How difficult is a pace like that to maintain, where you got to stay calm, you got to stay focused, you got to pick your shots because you don't have the big heavy build behind you, so you know the car is not going to last. There's only so many hits in that car, and you got to make it go the distance.
Yeah, it's real difficult. You just gotta try to pace yourself and keep yourself from taking a bad shot or making a bad shot.
Of all the times that you've been there, how does this feature compare to the other features that you've been in? Obviously, this one's going to rank right up there as number one because you won it. But there was no easy path to victory in any of these, whether you were first, second, third, fifth, whatever it is. How does this one rank?
It ranks right up there at the top because to me, I beat out some of the best when Bobby Whitaker and Scott Zisselman, Darrell Monroe, Chad Markley, Luke Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, them guys are all no slouches. They're top quality derby guys.
Second place, if I remember right, was
Bobby.
Whitaker. In third place, Chad Markley, who was right down there at the wire. Fourth place, I think, was
Ziz?
Was that Zisselman?
I think.
damn.
I
It
mean,
was either Zisselman or Monroe was fourth.
Monroe
or
was
fifth.
fourth and Zisselman was fifth.
Yeah. Look at that top five.
Oh, my God.
How many feature wins do you think of that top five?
Well, when you get down to the 5, it's like, I mean, you got to be on your A game.
Yeah.
You got to be on your A game.
Every one of those guys picks shots. They
awesome.
know how to pick a car apart,
Oh, yeah.
and you don't have the heavy stuff behind you. That's
Yeah.
the big difference. We've gone with this stock transition with Metal Mayhem, and it's given the show new life. You know, and now you've seen.
Yeah, but you gotta. I'd have to take a hamburger with me for 2-hour feature.
It's a long
In
time.
the car?
It's a long time.
It's, you
I
know,
wonder how bad the officials are chasing who and telling them who to hit.
Well,
They didn't.
In Vic, I mean, I've way back in 2004, 2005. I mean, out to Metal Mayhem, and you running out there against even old man Whitaker and all that. I mean, do you think if they, they're going back to the lighter builds? Do you think if they went back to the old style maximum fuel requirement versus, to help shorten the features up? I mean, back then it was 5 gallons of gas. I mean, there's guys running out of 5 gallons of gas then. So then the next thing you know, it went to 8 gallons. And then the next thing you know, it's 12 gallons. And the next thing you know, it's a pit stop. And, this is how it's progressing. I mean, do you honestly really enjoy running over a 2-hour feature?
Good question.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I love the strategy of trying to outthink everybody else, and the longer you could be out there to beat them at their game, the funner it is.
Right. I mean, what's the actual? I ain't been out there in a while. What's the capacity they're letting you run now, or is it unlimited?
I had a 12-gallon tank in my car, and I used 6 gallons. I used a half a tank of gas.
Wow. So you had a lot left.
Yeah, you had plenty to spare. So, I mean, do you still – I mean, Vic, you've been out to this show a billion times. You've been running on the national level for years now. Do you still get starstruck at all when you're out there looking at the amount of wins, like Brian was alluding to, that are on the track that you're trying to outsmart and stuff like that? Or is this just a collection of guys that are standing between you and one of the biggest wins of your career?
It's just a bunch of guys in my way of get to the biggest win of the career.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Absolutely.
100% true. I mean, he's run against these guys hundreds of times.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just it's.
But a lot of people will never in their whole life of derbying have the patience.
Oh, yeah.
Like Ben says, I mean,
no way.
an hour into that derby, I wouldn't have lasted 30 minutes, but an hour into that derby, I would have said, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm putting
Now
my
into
foot
that
down.
derby, Josh, you would have had your helmet in your hands watching from the
Yes, I
stands.
would. Oh, no, 40 minutes before that. But a guy like Vic, he knows that patience is his game. Now, we know he can drive in a short one, too, but patience is his game. So guys like him in Monroe, isn't that what they want, is to drag it out, because everyone loses their patience eventually. And 2 hours in, almost everybody does, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the patience
And
thing.
it's easy to do when you're out there running. It's easy to do when you're in there that long for somebody to come in and put a wheel shot on you and to lose your cool and want to retaliate.
Yeah,
But it's hard to hold yourself back and not retaliate.
I agree. I agree with that. That is true.
And I've watched Vic. I mean, I've watched him years ago. I watched him. This guy come in and put a shot on him. He turned around, basically stood on the throttle, flipped the guy on his lid, and then went right back to his plate case. You know, and that was, you know, that's the control he's talking about. And personally, myself, there's not a chance.
So, Vic, the first time I ever heard of you was back in TNN days, right? TNN, you were in a derby. I believe you were in a black with green bumpers on it or something, but you kicked ass in the heat, and they were interviewing whatever. And I remember that. Now we're going back 15 years ago. To see where derbies
No,
progressed.
it's longer ago than that.
Yeah,
What's that?
It's longer ago than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I used to love TNN. Oh, my God.
yeah.
I used to watch them over and over and over. But I loved it. Now
was
that you're
actually
derbying
20
now.
years ago.
What's that?
20 years ago, 1997.
Yeah.
1997.
That was before my first derby. Wow.
You didn't
That's
graduate
awesome.
yet, have you?
No,
No.
2001.
I don't even think you would start in high school yet.
Holy cow. Okay. But
He
now
wasn't
that
even
you're
dating
looking,
Katie yet.
but you were great back then, right? And that's when derbying was stock, no protectors, nothing. Do you like where derbying's gone, or did you like running that stock $20,000 to win more than a protector derby?
I like running the stock classes better than the protector classes.
Why is that?
It's a driver's
The driver's derby.
Anybody can build a good car. Not just anybody can go out there and drive a stock car.
Absolutely.
I agree.
That makes
That's
sense.
that's one thing
It's so much different because if you go out there and you win a $20,000 welded up class, you're depending more on the car than you are the driver. If you go out there and win a $20,000 stock class, you're depending on the driver to know what he's got to put it to work.
Great analogy.
And that's
a great point.
we've said it on here a million times. You can buy all the bolt-on stuff, but you can't buy driving talent. I mean, you
You
can
can drive a wheelbarrow. You're
yeah.
not
I mean,
gonna win
you can go out and buy all the expensive stuff, but if you can't drive it, you're going to sit in the middle of the track and
Well,
get jumped.
let me throw in the backside of that is we've learned, because when I first started going to Blizzard Bash, you see all that stuff and you're like, God damn, all these cars are kick-ass. But then you learn not everyone can install the
Oh, yeah.
protectors and the add-ons the right way. So I don't know. I think the Vic's win whether he's running stock or he's running, you know.
Well,
thing, I mean-
another prime example is Shea Walden. You see, Shea Walden's another one that you put him in an outlaw car or a limited well car, a stock car, or whatever. He's that type of driver.
Yeah.
I mean, prime example, Brett. Brett's run hard cars and
Junk.
yeah, I mean stock cars. You've won in everything. You have the patience. Mark has the patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
I just don't have patience for flaggers.
Sit down over there.
I'm just
Talking to
saying.
Vic Whaley Jr. God damn it.
No, I do have the.
But the thing is, though,
Well, there is days. No, there is days for most people, especially me. I mean, if there's something going on that's got you frustrated, where you had to cut more an inspection you wanted, or it's too hot, or you tore a transmission out the day before, just things not your patience are a little bit different. But if you can, there's been derbies that I went to, and I've had to do them as a job.
I know how to
make
finish
money.
this sentence. There's been derbies that he's gone to where he had to pay almost $200 for a car, and he couldn't wait to waste that thing because he got screwed on that deal. Go ahead, take it back.
Correct. That happens.
But the thing is, I mean,
Correct.
not to interrupt Brett though, but if you look across the landscape of derbying, for the biggest derbies in the country, a lot of times you see the same names at the top, regardless of what the class is.
Whether it's Texas Hold'em and poker, or whether it's your golf, or certain people get lucky enough to have the certain talent or the certain whatever it is. Okay, people say poker's luck or whatever. Well, you can't really have allies in poker, but you still got the same winners. I mean, you still got the same people and the same money, and there's a reason.
I agree.
Whether it's talent, building ability, or whatever the situation is.
Straight out luck. I mean,
straight out.
There's luck involved.
Yours is straight out luck.
And it may be. That's
Mine
what
was
you've told me
luck
for years.
Yours?
Yeah.
You don't hit
Saturday.
nobody.
He was hit. I got to give Mark. I got to defend Mark.
Yeah, he hit
was
Donnie
hitting
about
people.
60.
I must have watched the wrong video.
No,
No, Donnie's head hit the passenger doors. I felt bad
Yeah.
for him.
Donnie,
Yeah. He did.
No,
poor
they
Donnie.
did.
He's one of your friends, and you guys
No,
are out
we
there
were all
Funny
helping
thing
him.
is,
But Donnie's the one that broke his steering though too.
the funny thing was, well, I'd run up into the back of Donnie and did that myself.
Donnie
That was
hit Beatty.
dumb.
Donnie hit Jim Beatty, and Jim's damn nose hit the steering wheel.
Jeez.
I mean, it was hard.
It was
really
hard.
was. But getting back to your patience, there has been derbies that I went to, and I said,
You have to win.
I'm going as a job. I mean, I'm looking at this as a job, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep my patience, keep my calm, and there's been times it's paid off. There's been times it hasn't, but there's been times it has.
See,
I mean, we saw Vic do an outstanding job the year that we went down for Razorback in Hot Springs. I think he ended up fourth there. And we were talking on the live stream that he's going to probably be in the mix of winning this thing. And he got down as far as fourth, and that was one of the shows that Whitaker was out there driving with three wheels, and Don Santel lost a whole frame section when the front bumper came off the car. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, like you alluded to with the poker analogy, you know, you got to look at it as a job, but you've also got your buddies out there that maybe they're not going to call your bluff even though they know you're lying. And that's one of those things that you see in Demolition Derby sometimes. Vic, did you go out there with the intention of this being the year that you won it?
Yes, I went out there from day one, starting the car, that it was my year, and even everybody that went with me and was up there, everybody told me that it was my year to win it. So
That's cool.
I guess it was just fate to be.
Now, last year,
That's badass.
well,
Whenever I said that, I've done the worst. That's the truth. The better I felt, the worse I did.
Here's something though, Vic. Wasn't last year your year, and the year before that wasn't that your year?
Yes, in 2014, I had it 1-2. That's when Darryl beat me out.
So what was different this year compared to 2014 or 2011 or one of the previous iterations that you had been knocking on the door but couldn't close the deal?
I don't know. It seemed like everything fell into place, and I've been gradually working on my stuff and making my drivetrain extremely compatible with everybody else's.
So what do you have for a power plant now?
I've got a Collier Performance engine.
Nice.
Nice.
In my opinion, that's the best engine on the market. You know, I know
Where they at?
these other guys like Jeremy Gard and Ziz and Grop, they all build good engines. But in my opinion, I think my engine builder's got it down to a pat.
Collier's out of Illinois, isn't it, Vic?
Yes,
Well,
he's
there's
out
two
of
different
Albion,
ones, Collier
Illinois.
and Carter, right?
Collier.
He's got Collier. That's a
Collier.
Colyer, I believe. And then I think Don Santel runs Kohler, which is
Kohler.
K-O-H-L-E-R.
Kohler.
Don runs a Kohler engine.
Kohler, and this is a Collier.
One of them motors, Rick Clark was just talking to us about at Coos.
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm not familiar, Chris, with which one's what, but Rick Clark was just telling me that there was two names that sounded familiar, and he didn't say one was bad or whatever, but one of them he really liked.
Yeah,
He's a believer
They're
in-
both top notch.
Yeah, they're both really good motors.
Top notch motors.
I think it's harder to get a Kohler like Santel has than it
Yeah.
is to get a
Yeah.
Collier
Yes,
like
it's
Vic's
hard to
talking
get
about.
a Kohler engine because Scott pretty much builds engines for like Butchie
Yes.
and a couple of his buddies.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if Kohler's building them anymore for him or not.
Right. Well, I think Vic, to rewind a little bit, Vic. I mean, like Chris said, you know what you did different or what else. I mean, you probably put a shot on Darryl a little bit earlier this year.
Well,
this year.
exactly.
You know.
So I wasn't letting Darryl out of the corner.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'd hit him and I'd back up and I'd keep an eye on the other guys. and make sure they wasn't coming to put a shot on me. So I go push Daryl back in the corner, and I keep backing up to keep an eye on them other guys.
Yep.
Vic, when you're running them really big shows like that, right? You've been down to the last 5 like 1,000 times, right? A lot of us haven't.
Most of us haven't.
I want to know what it's like. When you get out of the car, because I'll never be there. When you get out of the car, is the camaraderie there? Like most of the time when you get out and them big shows, do you feel that there's really good camaraderie with you big name drivers where you all get out and shake hands, even though you were just bashing each other's brains in for the last half hour?
It's different. I mean, around home you get a lot of guys are mad because you beat them and everything. But when you go to a big show, everybody's got the same chance of winning, and nobody gets mad for you winning or beating them out. And it's the same way with me. I don't care who beats me out, as long as I do good or if I win. But I'm not mad if I get beat out or anything. I still go up and shake everybody's hands and tell them good job.
Well, that takes me to my next question was, then when you go to county fair levels back home, or do you just avoid county fairs? Because
that's what he just said. He says
no, I got one Thursday night I'm going to.
You know, think
I don't know.
most cheated
I love
car
running
down
them,
there.
so I'm just going to keep going to them.
How would you like to be at your county fair and have Vic Whaley pull in? That's
go
got to
home,
suck,
just
huh?
load up.
That's like
That's got to suck.
Check.
that's got to be kind of like when Bob McCready pulled in Canandaigua, right?
Oh yeah, eating ice cream as they unload right before the feature. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty disheartening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
It's kind of like Mark, Harold, Betty, Brett,
Yeah.
and all them
Oh,
pulling
absolutely.
into Seneca County.
Yeah, we know what that's like.
Very frustrating.
Now, Vic, you have the nickname of Mr. Excitement. So I mean, how hard is it to back down for Mr. Excitement to drive for 2 hours to win Metal Mayhem?
It's difficult because I like to hear my engine talk, and I like to put on hits, but in the other sense, I knew I had a job to do and go there and win. So it's kind of like I need to put a bigger block under my gas pedal so I couldn't get going.
That's awesome.
At the end of the day, would you rather run hard or drive to win? I mean, I realize there's more fame driving hard. The bank pays you more winning. But you as a driver, you as a person, where do you get more excitement out of? People talking about who won Metal Mayhem or who drove the hardest at Metal Mayhem? Because, you know,
You've been in both cases.
we've had debates, you know. Demolition Derby's a sport, the object's to win. And who's to say how hard, how fast, you know. I put on Kings of Old School, and we said at the drivers' meeting, you know, it's the other driver's responsibility. If they don't want this person or that person to win, we just don't allow holding and hitting. And me as a driver, generally, unless I'm discouraged or just pissed off, I drive to win or drive easier. And I get my excitement out of that. I was just kind of curious how you felt.
I get excitement out of both of them. I love to drive hard and tear stuff up. But in a sense, now everything is getting so expensive. If you go out there and do that, then you can't keep doing it.
Right.
So you gotta go out and win some, just so you can keep some money flowing into the demos so you can afford to do it.
Yes, so true.
So that means since you just won the Metal Mayhem for $20,000 Thursday night, you're just going to hold your foot on the floor and make junk, right?
Damn right.
It's probably a good possibility.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we like to hear.
Damn right.
Well, how aggressive is the building at your county fair, Vic? I mean,
It's not. I mean, it's on a Thursday night, so I don't predict very many cars to be there.
is it full protectors?
So probably 15 cars, and it shouldn't be too bad.
Is it like more of a
I got an advantage over some of the other guys here because, you know, I got the know-how and the ability to go out and buy a good car compared to some of these other guys, which they just.
Would you run new iron or old iron?
No, I prefer old iron. I got a 7688 I'm running Thursday night.
Huh.
But not only do you have the cars, but your drivetrain, like in a national level, your drivetrain's is good to compete against everyone at that level. Now you back down to a county fair. Don't even put a radiator in that SOB. I already put oil in it. I bet you still can win that.
you make it clear.
There was a show earlier in the year that I went to, and I've never had any kind of a motor that anything was done to it all. I just always run the stock motors, and it was a red line, and it just kind of made too much noise. I ruined a Cherry 73 Cadillac and heat and feature that was $1,000 Derby, and after the Derby and the New Yorker bumpers facing the sky, I'm like, why did I do that?
Let me take that motor off your hands.
So Vic, go ahead.
It's hard to keep your cool out there and not tear stuff up, but if you know you got to do it, anybody could do it.
Right.
Well, then you hear all the people crying that they should have got you, or they could have got you, or you're not worth watching, or the people in the stands that could do better, or they're gonna do better, or
No, they're gonna junk you.
Yeah,
The bank never says that when you go cash that check Monday morning, though.
I don't know. They wouldn't cash mine today.
Oh, that's not
They
good.
Well, I've told a couple people they gripe about me sandbagging and not hitting, and I tell them, I said, okay, you go out, you buy the car, you build the car to my specs,
Right.
and you pay for everything,
Right.
and I'll be glad to get in that car and drive that car the way you want me to.
Yep, exactly. Good answer, Vic.
Perfect answer.
And
Sounds like a conversation somebody had years ago.
Do you? I mean, it's weird to say. We hear about all the new drivers in NASCAR and motorsports. They've got the video games where they can test it and they can run the track and they can get acclimated to it. So they've got a pretty good log of notes before they get into it. Obviously, we don't have that in Demolition Derby. But in football, they watch all sorts of tape beforehand, afterhand to be prepared for it. In order to get ready, I mean, people are creatures of habit. They're going to go to the same spots where they feel safe. They're going to use the same hiding spots. They're going to use the same tactics. And did you watch videos of years past to try and find some of the weaknesses in the other guys that you knew were going to be there at the end so that you could figure out what their openings might be when they offered them?
nope, I never have. I've never paid any attention to that. I go out there and I try to find my hiding spots.
Right.
And to me, you like to stay on one side of the track and kind of hide in a bunch of cars. But if you mix it up and you just kind of use the whole track to hide around on, then you'll be better off, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I try that and it don't work.
Oh, bullshit, don't work.
Watch
you
a video.
hide all day long.
You didn't hear all the air horns and the flags coming out?
Oh, my God, you hide all day long.
It just happened.
Jesus.
Vic, what else have you got planned for this year?
I got some local shows around here I'm going to run, and then in August I am planning on going out to Utah and running.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yes.
That'll be a
Very
good
cool.
time.
What made you go out there? What was the thing that made you say, I got to get out there?
Zizzleman, Santel,
It just
Toby.
obviously the money, but I've never run out there, and I like traveling and trying different events.
Well, that's a trip that you have to make. It is so much fun out there. We're looking forward to getting back out there in a couple weeks. It'll be a couple months, I suppose, out there. We're going to make the trip back out in October for Halloween Havoc. If you go out there and you like it, any likelihood we'll see you again in October?
Yeah, I doubt in October because I got some shows around here in October I'm going to run.
Okay.
What are you going to build to take out there, Vic?
72 Chevy wagon.
Seriously.
Pincushion.
Vic, you got to drive frontwards out there.
Do what?
You got to drive frontwards in Utah. You can't drive backwards?
Well, I mean, I got to have the back of the car for them guys to drive in.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
Valid
they're
point.
definitely.
Hey, we'll do that.
What's a local fare like the one you're going to Thursday? What does that pay to win? Like what's an average fare pay?
$1,000 to $1,200.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to me, to somebody to take your statue, going to win 20 grand, then backing yourself way back down with obviously still good equipment to $1,000. You know what I mean? So,
Hometown show.
yeah. Well, no, it's just me as trying to put on a show. What does it take? What does it not take? Is it about the money? Is it not about the money? Is it about location? What is the magic numbers or why? There's shows around here.
The main reason I'm going is obviously to support my local shows because it's only 15 miles from my house. And the guy that's putting on, we used to be real good buddies, and I don't want to see the sport die. So I mean, it don't matter if it pays $1,000 or $500 to win. I'm gonna go over and support the show to keep it going.
One last quick from me, Vic. Do you think it's possible that they actually lose cars with people knowing that you're going?
Great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
That I don't know, because around here I am well hated and people love to beat on me.
Yeah.
But also,
That's awesome.
But also, they know how badass you are, and they can't beat you.
Right,
So then they get
right.
more discouraged, and they know the kind of equipment and cars you run.
It's a great question.
I was just kind of curious, you know. I mean, I didn't. Me and Josh always had the debate for years. I would pick my shows with the equipment, with the shows. Maybe hear rumors who's running, who's not running, what allies, what one, you know, what kind of payout. And he says, I don't care who goes. I don't care how. The better they are, the more I want to run. And I'm like, the more of the group of the people, the more I don't want to run, because
Okay.
I'm getting my shit junk.
But look where you're right always, because look how many derbies you've won compared to me. I win fucking shit. And you're right. You always tell me, why do you go to that show and try to beat 8 of guys that you know you're not going to beat? Because what if I fucking beat them? What if I fucking beat them today? Well, your point is, why even try it? Let me just go win this one.
Well,
and this
there's times to do it, absolutely. There's times to do it, and there's times, you know, to go have fun or try different areas or etc. But there's also times, you know, I went to back before it was the Bash, we turned back the clock. We went out there with Imperials, and I've been to Ohio 6 times. I can't even make the feature. I scratched my ass. I said, well, this ain't going to work. I ain't doing this no more. It's kind of what works for me. So where this is going is I had the bright idea to start a show in September that's the only way you can run in the show is you could have never won a feature before. And oh my God, you want to be the police blowing up. I mean, it is off the hook.
I had like 6 text messages before he even told me that he was having this class.
Oh, he got madder than a wet hen.
I would have too. Yeah, you can't do that, by the way.
Wait a minute, what are these
Well,
guys
like-
talking about?
Well, like, Brett, I want to skip back a little bit.
Okay, but anyways, real quick, Pete Hansen. Okay, I have the utmost respect for him. I think he's very good. He's whooped my ass before, and I've got lucky and finished higher than him before. But if he wasn't a friend of mine, or even if he is a friend of mine, we went down to Hartford, PA. I'm like, this is a waste of time. And I got a Chevy wagon. I got a 71 Chevy wagon. And in my mind, before I even go, I'm discouraged because I know that I can't beat the man, or I can't do it. He wins it with a Riviera. I think he could have put the headlights back in it. I mean, and he run it.
You make me mad. What you're saying is ridiculous. Think about the rest of the drivers on the track. If you are saying that you can't beat Pete Hansen, that means other 28 guys. I mean, what does that say for all the other guys? You are one of the best. You make me so mad when you say that. So I can beat Pete Hansen. Goddammit! You want me to say it out loud? I'll beat Pete Hansen.
This weekend, for an example, we were told that all these guys from that hometown fair weren't coming to that fair. 2,000 to win, 1,000 for second, 500 for third.
Absolutely great payout.
I'm like, there's no way they're not coming.
Because they're intimidated by you guys?
That's what we were told. The officials
I don't
even
know,
told
but
us.
there's only 5 of us.
90%.
showing up.
And there was only
More than
5 of us
officials.
there, and it was us 5. And like I
it.
told Brett, I said, look, either nobody's showing up, or there's going to be 25 of them waiting for
And
us
we're
when
in
we
for a
get there.
cleaning.
Yes. Yes.
So
When
then,
we get there, and it's
literally-
us 5. We have to
literally-
wreck each other.
only 5 cars.
Yeah.
Why didn't they show up? Do you think by no means not that me and Mark are anything different than anybody else, but do you think it's possible if we didn't show up that there would have been another 5-6 cars?
You don't think so, Ben?
Nope.
I think people get intimidated by
No.
Brett. And by Mark. I mean, guys like him. Klinger, when people say Klinger, it's like, I don't know if I want to go tonight.
That was their excuse. They weren't coming. Now if that was my hometown fair,
It don't matter if
You ain't going to take it
$100.
from me.
I would get all my buddies around and say, look, these 2 guys come in, or 3 guys come in from out of town. Let's get rid of them first.
Yep.
And then we'll seal the deal
Aaron
later.
Aaron Kasai did that to you at Bath one year.
Sure.
He
Pin
had
me
a
in.
he had a truck. Woo wee, he was in for a ride. And he says Mark ain't winning this, and they got him.
And they did. I mean, I got down to 4th, and they pushed me in a corner and
Well,
won't
you
let me
got to
out.
think a large majority of the drivers down there that were exceptional builders and like that class were either associated with it or they were officials in the show.
Good point.
Yes
Yeah, but
and
you
no.
had a lot
but
of other guys, though. I mean,
look at Kings of Old School. We had 80 cars total or whatever the number was. I mean, we had would you have 10 inspectors? So we had a pretty large amount there, and they got car. I don't know what the answer is, but also if you're putting that analogy with that analogy, Rick Clark, Fur from Carolina.
Well, that's what I was
Jamie
kind
St.
of.
Mary.
Were
This is
people
what I was.
intimidated by that?
This is kind of what I was getting at. To rewind is a question for Vic is. Do you judge on how far you travel on how big the purses are at the shows?
Good question.
That I do. I'm not going to travel 3 or 4 hours to a show that only pays $2,000 to win.
Right.
What if you thought you had a very good chance of winning it, and you thought maybe 2 of your buddies are going to go, and a couple guys that were in 80 Caprices with no cages? I mean, you still want to take the chance?
That's hard to say because from where I'm at, I mean, there's so many derbies
Right.
here in Illinois and Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri, and there is a whole bunch of guys within a 200-mile radius of me that they're exceptional drivers and very tough to beat.
Right.
So with that being said, if you know that they're going and the derby pays a couple grand, will you stay home so you ain't got to battle them? Does that influence your decision at all? Or if you know they're not going, does that make your decision at all?
No, it don't. It just, like I said, for like I said, the $2,000 to travel a few hours, that to me that's not worth it. Because it depends on the main thing. It depends on is when the demo is. If it's a demo that I got a month before a local show or a big show or something, then I might consider going.
Right. Like I guess from you being in the Midwest, I mean, say if you wanted to put a derby, if you were traveling to a derby on the East Coast, what would the minimum purse would have to be to win or actual payout or whatever for you to travel from Illinois to the East Coast?
Pennsylvania, Virginia, even.
Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York, whatever. I mean, would it have to be like a $10,000 to win show?
Or is there no dollar bill?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm getting at. You being you got a good idea and so many people out there. I mean, what's kind of like the general idea?
Or is it the rules that make a big decision?
The rules has a big part of it. On what all you can do to the car and the promoters too. You got to be able to trust a promoter,
right?
To be able to build your car and somebody else come in and they don't catch everything on their car, which you could see as obvious.
Right.
But if the promoter's well known, I do a lot of the looking on the computer and people talk about the shows and everything.
Yeah.
And that helps me decide if I'm going to go too.
Right. So basically, what my own personal opinion, I think for Midwest guys to either go to West Coast or East Coast, my personal opinion is you'd have to have at least $10,000 to win.
I would say yeah. Because considering where I'm at,
right,
to travel all the way out there and everything.
Yeah, 14 hours.
That's a long haul.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because, like Brett says, then you get the Vicks, the Bobby Brockways, right? Mike Brown says he's coming, right? Daryl Monroe's coming.
Well, that's
then the
not
rest
so
of
much
us.
the problem if them guys come. The problem is only 2 of them come and they scare 40 away.
Well, that's what I was going to say is then does it start a downward slope? Because you don't hear on the back end. You don't hear it, though.
I hate that bullshit.
Is anybody ever going to admit to you, I didn't come because I was scared?
Yes.
I will.
I've heard people say that. Brett says it, actually.
I don't know about scared, but respected, intimidated.
That's the word. Brett said to me, I don't want to go fight Klinger today, or I don't want to go fight Pete.
My biggest highlight is when we went to Ohio, and I was on the track battling Toby Hiley's old man, Trey Nichols, Doodle, freaking...
There's no doubt.
Johnny
we made a
Rutherford,
statement
all
when
them
the back
guys.
of the wagons were in the back seat of one shot.
Toby Hiley and all them guys. That was a highlight of being out on the track and actually having the opportunity of possibly getting a shot on these guys to take them out. That was my drive. And I cannot believe, and I hate that bullshit scapegoat. People saying, well, he's coming, so I'm not going. That's bullshit.
Ben's here.
Well, people do it though.
I know they
But
do
the-
it.
the
But
thing
it's
is, though,
bullshit.
is there's-
Throw a set of balls. and
Damn
just
right,
run.
Ben. It's Demolition Derby. God damn it.
Jesus.
Thank you.
The
Ben.
thing is, though, there's not enough
drives me
there's not
nuts.
enough old school guys like us. I mean, like I've said a million times, I'd rather go somewhere where there's a
we
Vic
got
Whaley
the-
to get beat.
got the motherfuckers will sit in the stands.
Or
and
run their mouth.
There's that fucking car's cheated. That's not right. That's not right. And I can do better than that. Well, get your
This one
fucking
won't be
ass
on
out there
TV,
and do
Chris.
it. You know that,
Oh, yeah,
just,
Ben.
that burns my ass.
For the books at Bath the other day, though, I sailed right through inspection. Just a few holes drilled and didn't have to change a thing.
Which is hard
Brett
to
had to
believe.
take off his hood.
That drill bit didn't break on the second layer of metal?
No.
That's awesome.
But I mean, that's the thing. I've said it a million times. I mean, I've been beat at my hometown fair by nobodies. And why not go to someplace big and get beat by Vic Whaley or
I would
Bobby
love to
Sand
get
or
my ass
Who
kicked
knows?
by
Or
Vic
maybe
Whaley.
Rick Clark will save your ass 7 times.
He did save me a few times. The King's Old School. Not
That
gonna
has to
lie
be
there.
your highlight. I mean, that was
Absolutely.
badass. Rick Clark was saving you.
Absolutely, that
Badass.
was great.
But Ben's right. I'd rather get my ass kicked by Vic. I'd rather get my ass kicked by Bobby
Absolutely.
Brockway than it's like I already got my ass kicked here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if you
not?
won?
Yeah, what if
That's a dream.
What if some miracle even if you just beat one of them, like you finished, if I finished 8th and I beat Vic Whaley, he finished 9th, and holy cow, I just
You're
that's-
proud of yourself.
Yeah, that's
I
my
know.
that's my career highlight there. But
it's just that scapegoat's just
yeah,
Darren.
I would rather, if I'm going to have junk and I'm not going to win and I'm not going to accomplish anything, I'd rather just go out back and run them into the trees. I wrecked enough cars. I mean,
Right.
it's just me personally.
Yeah, see, I'm
I
opposite.
would rather go spend a week, build a fresh Oldsmobile or whatever, take it out back, run it in my forklift, and say there.
But you could take the biggest. You could take the biggest, and we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand. We've seen it firsthand. You could take the biggest names, the best of the best of the best of the best, at everything, won hundreds of derbies, and then go out there and a little stinking break.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you've
Bobby
seen it.
Brockway.
You've seen it. You've seen it with
Happened to Bobby.
Tice's, with not Tice's, but
12-cent.
Brodzinski
Every-
broke a battery terminal at Bigelow Bass.
Brodzinski.
You know?
down
broke
at
a
King's
fuel
Old
filler
School,
neck.
them two freaking
Bolt.
Jamie Bolt goes
Jamie
out there,
Bolt,
breaks
right.
the rotor out.
And those
out
guys
of
run
distributor.
forever.
That's
Then the
all
other
right.
guy,
Those guys go on the track, they run forever.
Yes,
then
they
the
do.
other guy goes out there and something happens with his transmission.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's always that
there's too there's
chance.
there's always
What
luck.
is the risk versus the reward? If I raising the kids,
you haven't played any commercials.
raising the kids, doing my business, my work, time, putting on Kings of Old School, I don't have time. So you put time in the equation,
Yeah.
building, the expense, and then you put it on top of the next level of going to Utah. I mean, that was awesome. That Joker went out there, but I just can't get myself wrapped around it.
the way
Until you get there.
the way the rules are.
On the topic of time,
We
Vic,
gotta pay some commercial.
Vic has to build a car for Thursday still.
We'll let Vic go.
Absolutely.
I mean, Vic, is there anybody? Obviously, there's a bunch of guys that you mentioned that traveled out there to Mayhem with you and helped make this possible. They've been with you for years and years. Has shared the struggle with you, and they're able to share this victory with you as well. Before we get any deeper, I wanted to give you a chance to recognize those guys.
I got to recognize my friend Dustin Larimore. If it wasn't for him, I mean, he'll come over after work and he'll help me work on the cars. He goes to every Mayhem with me. He goes almost every demo with me and helps me. And if it wasn't for that guy, I mean, I probably wouldn't be in half the shows I go to because he's always there to help me. And then my wife, I mean, she puts up with all kinds of stuff. She puts up with the long hours in the shop, the money I spend on this derby, and my girls, they absolutely love it too.
Do you have any sponsors or anybody that helped get the car there?
I got Chambliss Welding, Collier Performance Engines, and Woodrow Slip Shafts. Them guys are, I mean, anytime I need something, if I got problems with my engine, I call Jeff and he'll take care of it. If I need a part made, I call Jake Chambliss. And Woodrow Slip Shafts, he built my rear end and my drive shaft for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else I pretty much do by myself.
Man, that's a tough battle. Now, Vic, do you want to hang out with us for what is almost going to guarantee be the second hour, or have you got to get out of here?
I'm gonna have to get out of here because
Okay.
I gotta go to work tonight.
All right, we won't keep you from.
Thank you for being on.
All I appreciate it.
You bet.
You guys.
We'll catch up with you soon, Vic. Congratulations again on the win.
All right, thank you.
No problem. There goes Vic Whaley. See you later, Vic.
Better do your ads now.
Yeah, we're already close to 30 minutes late. Take a look at this right here. We will be right back in a minute.
It's Truck Month at Layton Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
The Mayhems, first Mayhems I went to, it's him, Kurt Amos, Zizzleman, Old Man Whitaker, Bobby Whitaker. I mean, all of them just.
Mark, have you ever thought of, like, don't you want to get to that level? Like, you could be there. No?
I'm ready to sell, to be honest with you.
He's one. I mean, he's.
Like the old one.
Just wanted to make mention of a couple of the upcoming shows. We're going to be visiting here a new format for the Erie County Fair in Sandusky, Ohio. They're going to be a team program there. Full-size team spots are still open, guaranteed to be one of the wildest derbies of the year. Those guys build their cars hard. They move giant concrete blocks when they drive one another through them. The light trucks that they run out there drive up and over them. Corey McKillips is promoting that show, 419-656-6163. It is going to be live streamed for free on FigureLakes1.tv. It's August the 13th, Erie County Fairgrounds in Sandusky, Ohio. Excited, really looking forward to getting out there for that one with Corey McKillips. Just to give you an update on Smash It Demolition Derbies, we told you they had a 42 derby schedule the next couple weeks for them. June the 25th, the Stark County Fair, the Smash It Leaf Class, the Minis, Full Size, and more are going to be on the card in Canton, Ohio, 7:30 start time. Same night, Guernsey County Fair in Old Washington, Ohio. That's a 7 o'clock start there. Leaf Class, Mini Cars, Youth Division, Power Wheels, and more on that card. July the 2nd, Pike County Fair, which is in Piketon, Ohio. It's 5 o'clock start time. Smash It Class, the compacts, the modified mowers, the Power Wheels. Modified mowers, they basically look like trash dumpsters with single-cylinder motors. July the 13th is the Boyd County Fair in Cattlesburg, Kentucky. 7:30 start time there. Smash It Class again, the main offering. Street stocks on the card, along with the compacts, the trucks, and more. Excited to add this one. Looking forward to this. Broome County Fair coming up on the 27th of July in Whitney Point, New York. When we're going to be going there. Justin Madden has taken control of that show. Phone number for him, 607-427-2375. 6:30 start time there. Wristband sales start at 2 o'clock on the Midway. Grandstands open at 4. V8 Modifieds paying $1,500. The compact feature paying $1,000. Minivans and trucks paying $500. And the new class, the Chain and Bang stock event, Eddie Bello, anxiously awaiting the rules on those. He's getting all sorts of stuff put together for that. 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders, 100% payback of the entry fees up to $1,000. Other stuff going on that same day, again, that's the 27th of July, is the Kitty Tractor Pull from 1 to 3. Free admission until 1 o'clock. No free re-entry after 1 o'clock. Pay one price rides at $17 between 11 and 4. Also coming up this summer, the East Coast Championship Team Show planned for September 3rd at 2 o'clock. It's only open to the top 2 finishers from 2015 and 2016. If you didn't qualify there, you got a chance to get a couple of your buddies together and come out for the team program. Full-size and compact team divisions are available. There's 14 teams per class. It is just about full at this point, so you got to act fast if you're going to get in on that. V8 Modifieds pay $22.50 to win. Compacts $1,500. Teams are paying $300. Each division paying $3,000 to win. Junk Run $500. Outlaw Class $500 minimum to win there. It's the East Coast Championships that are going to be in Walton, New York, Kingsville Old School 2016. Call Brett Rallier for details, 607-327-2705, or Mark Benjamin at 607-215-2149. They'd be booing you too, Josh. 2016 Hog Wild Fall Brawl. It's another one's going to be streamed online. This is the Stoneboro Fairgrounds in Stoneboro, Pennsylvania, Saturday, October the 4th. It's a 4 o'clock start. If you like it, it's there. If you don't like Derby, there's still something for you there. Pro Limiteds, Wire Class, Super Stocks, Compacts, Youth Class, Trucks, Power Wheels, RC Derby, 3 raffle cars. The Show and Shine is also there if you've got a tuner car, classic, a muscle car, trucks, diesels, imports, rat rods. If you like ribs, which I'm sure that Brian's not going to miss this part, Barbecue Fest, live music, adult admission, $11. Kids under 12 are $6. The event is supporting 3 charities. It's the Matheson Family College Fund, the Fisher House Foundation, and the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And finally, your mics are muted. Finally, Caledonia Crash and Jam Festival. The compacts are $1,100 to win, $350 for a second. $200 starts the feature from 5th on down. Full-size class, $1,400 to win, $450 for a second. That's $300 to start the feature from 5th on down. Junk Run, $500 to win. More than $7,800 in prize money. You can call Ken Swingle for details on that one, 585-447-7939. Again, that's Caledonia Crash and Jam Festival, planned for July the 16th at Livingston County Fair. It is a busy, busy time of year with all the shows jumping on board with plans of wrecking cars all over the place. Now, Josh, your microphone is open
You have a right.
You're live streaming my hometown derby.
so that you
So
can be
now
a
you gotta
hero.
run.
And all those
I
fans.
was not going to run.
I know you weren't going to run, but now
Seriously.
you got a chance that you can be a hero in front of the hometown crowd, and your dad can finally watch you earn a mad dog and hear the shower of booze
My
pour
dad
down
won't even
upon
show
you.
up.
But he could sit at home and watch it on his
He
computer.
won't do that either. Trust me.
He could. If you
could.
showed,
Thank you.
if you had Bailey show him how to run the computer,
He would
he
do it
could.
at my kid's ass. You're right. My dad doesn't give a shit what I do. That being said, that means you and I are going to just duke it out. I wasn't going to go, but I know you're going to go because you win that goddamn fair every year.
I've been trying to save my Vic for July at John King's show.
But you're not going to.
No, I got another one for there, but I would.
I'm calling it now. I have to beat you one time in my life. And
I've been trying to beat him for 20 years.
I don't care about him. I'll never beat him. But you I can beat. And it's going to be on July 9th at Broome County Fair or whatever the hell the state
July the
is.
27th.
July 27th.
It's
I
a
don't even have a
Wednesday
car
night.
for it. I don't even have a car. Brett, can I borrow a car?
He's beat me with my cars before. As a
I
matter
had-
of fact, that's my first car he won a feature with.
Yes. Brett gave me my first car I ever won a feature with. Thank you. And Brett hated me at that.
Wait a
It was
minute.
Ford,
Wait a minute.
wasn't
Hang
it?
on.
It was a Ford. It was
Wasn't
a
it a
Vic.
Ford
My
9802?
first feature win was a 9802. I know it. Do not tell people that.
No, it wasn't.
'Cause
No, it wasn't. It was a 92 Ford.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a 92 Ford Crown Vic.
I actually like that.
That you should have given to Mike Freesia.
Do you
That thing was
do
tough.
you have Josh a ride for the all three premier classes at Firster Show? 'Cause, I mean that's
I
coming
wanna
up
go to
quick.
Firsters.
I mean, can you get something worked out there
I
for
have
him?
That's
or-
fine.
I'll have something
We'll go
done.
to Broome and I'll junk you.
That's
Here's
fine.
here's the thing is, I've had people ask me if Josh is running at Erie County and if there's a spot on this team, and I'm like, Josh isn't even going to Erie County.
I get messages all the time.
Because he can't hang it in
No.
Sandusky. There's
Hell
no
no.
way. I'm not picking on him. Like
No.
he's not. He tried something similar to this when we were at Bird Island. Those cars were way harder. And Josh pissed blood for a week.
Yeah, I don't like
it's
that.
Not,
It's way too hard for
Josh,
me.
on a serious note,
Yeah.
I did get lucky a few times, finish higher than you.
Yes.
I don't want to roll the dice no more. So if I quit now,
Oh, shut your
He's never
mouth.
been
I'll beat
beat.
you. I will
There
beat
you go.
fair and square.
No.
You better not
I'm
retire
not
before I
going
beat
then.
you.
I'm not
Don't
running.
piss me off. I'm gonna beat
If
you.
he's retiring, you got a red line motor now.
No, he won't give it to me. He'll throw it in the woods.
He liked my other motor anyways.
Yeah, I did. I like your other motor.
Mark says, you ain't never going to let him do that run that again, right?
I love that motor.
I would have choked you.
Oh, the
He'll
one that was in
sing
the
it.
Cadillac?
Yeah,
told me
when
to
he ran
fucking
my
do shit.
74.
I was holding it.
No, he was holding it. Damn.
You said to hold it.
I didn't know you were going to send the spark plugs through the stacks.
It's just money. That motor run. I couldn't take my foot off the gas. Every
Hey,
time I would let off, it was like, no, no.
Brett said you can't do that anymore. Brett had a silly quest last week. You only billed out like 28 grand.
Yeah,
You
right.
gotta- You got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't afford that stuff anymore.
You're silly.
real quick. Who goes into Broome County Fair as the defending champion?
Bruh.
Vern Backus.
Oh, yes, Vern.
Yeah.
And Vern's coming back. That's
Vern
true.
Backus won last year.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
Vern
Brett.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vern Backus won that last
I
year.
Bringing the
thought
same
I-
car back.
I thought I seen you selling everything, though.
He
Yeah.
kept that.
He sold all of Josh's stuff.
Yeah, he
kept
sold all of
his.
Josh's stuff. Now, Brett, in all seriousness, how many times did Jesse Howe beat you on that track?
Poof.
A lot. But also
On
Harold.
Broome?
Yeah.
Harold Benjamin won that derby probably more times than Jesse. I bet Mark's
Yeah,
dad
but
won
I
it
don't
all.
remember. I remember running. I remember one when you give me that St. Regis when I hit the loader. He gave me a St. Regis to run. The loader guy made me mad. They were trying to pull my car off. I hit the loader. He says, "You're gonna wreck my car."
Gonna? Front tires is like this.
Anyway, now might be a decent time to jump off to Mark. I mean, you had that outstanding string of luck now on Father's Day. It's pretty nice that streak continued. You haven't had a particularly easy path on it because every time you show up at a derby, everybody's gunning for you, and you've had
He's got
you've
to
had
bring
the,
two cars.
You've had the we were getting there about how you bring the decoy car and then you run the other one. You've been fortunate enough that your dad's been able to see a bunch of the times we won on Father's Day. You've been able to have your daughter with you when you won a bunch of the times on Father's Day. This is getting to be a pretty special weekend for you.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. Not so sure if I'll get back into it next year. I mean, I got another 73 Caddy I might build, but we'll see where the fair goes from there. And I mean, the payout was incredible for this
Right.
area. I mean, you know, how do you not go? How do guys not show up and at least give the promoter a chance? You know what I mean?
Sure.
That was-
Granted, Granted, they had some things that was rough, but my first time out too, I had some rough things. I mean, and I still may not make a perfect 100% call, but I try to make a call to the best of my ability. Mm-hmm. And when you're there on the track, you have only a short period of time. Then you think about it after the fact. I mean, Ben's a big help.
I think the show that you guys just ran, Aaron's show. I think it falls back on the 1 year plan. I call it. There's people that didn't run because they wanted to see how everything went.
Yes.
So if he has it again next year, you're going to see more and more people attend to it, and I'm a firm believer in that because we used to do it ourselves.
Yes.
I mean,
we've talked about that how many times?
When I went to West Virginia, I mean, I went down and watched it first.
Then when you go back, that's what everybody else is doing. So my theory is you kind of try it out the first time,
right?
Because usually the second, third time's the hardest.
Yeah, it's hard
That's
though.
True too.
It's hard when you sit in a driver's meeting, knowing you drove 14 hours, and you hear in the driver's meeting, if you're worried about getting teamed on, you should have brought more buddies.
That's no good.
And you're 3 states from home.
But that was the thing.
But we had a good time. I mean, but I think that with Aaron's show, I think that's what kind of happened.
The thing that
everybody kind of felt it out. And
sure,
see what
100%.
It bothered me though. I mean, that was something that really bothered me. I mean, they were Aaron and Mike really went out on a limb, and I mean they had
absolutely
they had a great payout, and they had all the best intentions, and as these guys said, there were some things that went
everybody
awry.
does. Mark had me so mad at Coos, I threw the headset at him and walked away. I mean, things are that ain't even no joke. Ask him.
No joke.
No,
Brett's known for throwing things, right, Josh?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
What?
No,
did I say something wrong?
You're gonna have that, yeah. I mean, it's
you just try to knock it down the best you can, and
Are
find
we still
out.
talking about throwing things at Josh? Or are we talking about?
I threw my phone at Josh. I threw the headset at Mark.
I thought you were talking about knocking things down. I just want to make sure.
Here's
And
where I
for
get
the record,
biggest-
Chris, neither one hit either one.
Josh told me he looked like the Matrix when he went over backwards.
That's all.
Here's the biggest thing with Aaron. He admitted that it was a bad call. What more can you ask?
Absolutely.
If he admits and he's willing to fix it.
Yeah, but in Aaron's defense, it wasn't Aaron.
No, it wasn't
that made
Aaron
the
that
call.
No.
Right.
Aaron was sticking up for his
Officials,
Sure.
which it should be.
Absolutely.
If you're hiring somebody to do a job, you need to look out. You need to look out for their best interest, and you need to support them. And that's what he did, and that's what. But also on the other hand, who's ever in charge, if there is a problem, that's who you go to, and they're the ones that takes the wrath. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, he gets it on all ends, and he didn't make the call. Try to rectify it, and move forward. He has a heart of gold. Adam does. They all do. I mean, they're great people.
He had told me, he says, Mark, he says, you know what? I know that it wasn't 100% the right call.
Which one?
Being hung up.
well, basically. I mean, I truly believe. I truly believe they're going to stay with it. They're going to stay with it. There'll be a show next year.
Oh yeah.
And people seen that he paid out the money that he said he was going to pay out. He paid out with the car count he had. Yeah. So.
Well, that's like unfortunate. Look at the modified heat. There was 3 of us. I mean,
and he paid out $1,500, right? 1,000 first, 500 second, wasn't it?
1,000 first, 500 second, and the heat lasted a minute. Mm-hmm. A minute.
What was your bash?
Well, let's step back too.
It was
last year.
5
They had
hits.
Stoney Roberts. Last year was Stoney Roberts or Brody. Stoney Roberts sucks. I mean, their show was, with any problems that they had, still 10 times better than Stoney Roberts. And people will see that.
But they always used to get car count because he did suck, and they do
could
whatever they wanted to do.
But it was so unfair.
Oh, yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no fairness.
I mean, do whatever they wanted to do.
Mark,
2 of my cars
Mark.
got loaded last year.
Mark, please don't even start this.
Yeah, but the car that you took
I
off
had
the
to
trail,
go
you
home
won
and
with.
get another one.
That was 1 year out of how many years was Stoney Roberts there?
None of my cars ever got loaded.
Just your Imperial because you got tattletaled on.
We went to a Father's Day show, and Decker was the only guy that had
Oh,
the
at
cut.
Bath, yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't. Mark, don't even. I was so pissed off that day.
Yeah,
We're over
but-
there
Jump.
laughing.
These guys are tilted 8 inches, and I'm going to stock diplomat, and they're telling me to cut. What? And these guys
should've-
junked me in about 30
We're over there
seconds.
dying laughing. He's over there with a torch, cutting his door.
You're
seams.
allowed no cage or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I had a cage inside my doors,
Oh, don't even remind
along
me.
the dash, and the back
Missed it.
behind the seat.
No, you
But yeah, you remember?
And he had a big gas tank cover, you know what I mean? So it covered everything.
I had these foam things on the doors. I mean, it was plated 1/4 inch from front bumper to back bumper. And he rolls in with...
I'm so upset.
Danny Roberts sent a message in. He said that this is what happened in Michigan. Ryan Songalewski has his name, and it draws a low car count. Kind of that topic that you guys were.
I believe that played a factor Saturday. I really do.
Mark, you can't.
I
tell
know
me
of
that
about 5 guys that didn't come.
Your area is intimidated by you. Don't say no.
And they shouldn't be.
Why? You win.
Why
everything.
should they? Like 3 years ago at the Father's Day show, I'm hung up. Done. Brett has the show won.
Yes.
He's the only car left running. I am done.
Yes.
He comes down, knocks me loose because he wants to beat me.
Right.
He goes to the other end of the track and shuts off.
I did not.
I know.
On that topic.
That makes me mad.
Oh, seriously, on that topic, Mark, why you came years and years and years and years, your family came to Seneca County, and then why all of a sudden did you stop?
Because all them pissed on Benjamin stickers.
No, that's not it.
Because we got escorted out by the police.
No.
We did.
Because
yeah, we
one
did.
year I came there, and the promoter, I ran a heat, and I got hung up. He said I could run the consi. Well, then he says that I was sandbagging, which I had that Lincoln that I got. It was a free car. I wasn't even going to run that year.
Yep.
So I went out in the pits, worked on it, got it ready for the consi to come out, and he said, I'm not going to let you run the consi now. I said, that's it, then I'll never be back. But if you get that past champion show, I'll be back.
All right. Is he coming with you?
Certainly.
All right, just making sure.
Real quick, we got to jump in here.
You
with
better be
something
ready, because my shit's going to be cheated all to hell.
I'm going to smoke both of these. I put my money on Ben.
We missed this earlier. Lunatic has got their results out from the T-Bone show, and we talked a little bit about the $6,000 that was raised for Emily, Mopar Express family, and Derby Tees, and everybody else who donated to that $6,000. Awesome take from that. But we've also got the results that went up last Friday. I did send a message to Chris Holmes to see if we could get one of the full-size team winners, and I didn't hear back from him. So, unfortunately, he may not have even seen the message through Facebook. That was the only way I could get a hold of him. But, nonetheless, full-size team bracket, Chris Holmes and Joe Schulte winning that. Fat and Curtis Cochran second, C.J. Barnes, Denton Bishel. Third-place team, Mike Worth, Cordell Hansen, and Tyler Ford, and Jared Henkel. Coming in the top 5, Lunatic was Mike Worth. Hard to believe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, hard to believe there.
You have to admit
Compact
that.
team, Scott Mulder and Ryan Mulder. Second place or overall in the compact team, Kevin Ullman and Booger. Tyler Birch and Nate Hinton. Third place, Shea Ford and Wade Bonnet was fourth place. Casey Tucker and Drew Hoaxon. Fifth place, Lunatic Award was Scott Mulder. Compact truck, Jimmy Parker won over Rob Tomlin and Brandon Kramer. Old school class, Michael Lenger over Ben Plate. Ben Plate, second place, good run for him. And Ryan Oldham, we saw him run before as well. Mason Larson, Jesse Songer, and Aaron Harrington in the top 3 in the mod class. Overall, Lunatic, Kyle Puttawitter, already got the date for next year, June 9th and 10th in 2017. So
Team Iowa that came to Coos last year, Ben Plate there took second. They took first, second, and third at that Derby.
Yeah.
The team of Iowa took first, second, third, which
I've
is awesome.
never seen someone shift a transmission like I did him in that wagon.
Just beating on it.
Oh my God!
He was
This is
murdering
no like, you know how many phone calls
I'll never
we
forget
got?
I'll never forget about watching him from on the wall shift that station wagon.
Oh shit.
You would thought it was automatic. You know how many phone calls from spectators that ain't even in the Derby yet? I got text messages here that people want them to come back to watch.
Team Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Off
And
the
we
hook.
didn't, I
Well,
didn't
they
wanna
had
shut
the
them
stand
down.
sounded like college football
Those guys
game.
were.
Yeah, I didn't know to run or what.
It was awesome.
I would have liked to seen them guys
Go against Tyson.
Tyson's
Yes.
team right out of the gate though.
Hell
The first
yeah.
thing
Yep.
for heat.
Yep.
That would have been junk quick.
yeah.
That would have been nasty. Neither one of them would have had anything left for the feature. 'Cause, I mean, something that tough in heat. I mean, that's like a blizzard bash heat. I mean, you're.
Oh, they would have been duking
Oh,
it
them
out.
guys, they would have
They
duked
would
hard.
have duked it out for
Yeah.
a while.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been fun to watch. But that's why Team Derbyan's tough, because the draw just makes or breaks the night a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But it didn't take long for that team show in September to fill up.
No.
There's got to be 12 teams on a waiting list. She's got a list of guys if someone backs out they want in.
That's cool.
I can see that. Guys want to run as groups. In our area,
You're finally
everyone's been
sanctioning
running
all the
as
team
groups.
driving. Yeah.
We've been running as groups for 20 years
we-
now.
Let's go back
We-
a week
we had
to
a
King's
good-
Old School, or 2 weeks, or a week. Dave King, Tommy Henderson, Evan King. I don't know who the
Brian
other
Gonzalez.
But those 4 showed up at Bath for the compacts. Well, you got teams from Bath that they run every year and they do good, But those guys go out there and there's 2 heats. They take like 4 or 5 out of each heat. I'm not sure, but 2 qualify in this heat, 2 qualify in this heat. And I'm thinking, man, all
Jake
4 of
Doyle
them.
just texted me. He's coming too to the championship or to the past winners.
Jake Doyle's watching this show?
Jake Doyle must be on.
Holy cow, that's amazing.
No, it's because Brett's on. People watch.
Whatever, Jerry.
I know it's not true.
So let's take those 4 now. They go out in that feature. Now, what do you think happens when you get them 4 on the
They
track?
schooled people.
He cleaned house.
Well, I didn't get the chance to watch the compact
Look at them.
feature, but here come the 4 of them. How'd you guys do? Oh, we took top 4 spots.
But look at every time they run,
Bash.
whether it's the Bash or wherever, they're always
They're
bang,
very good.
bang, bang,
And
bang.
Aaron paid what, $1,500 for the compacts to win?
Yeah, good pay.
I'm not sure for second, but wasn't it like $1,000 or?
I think the number I heard was $9,500 paid out in
It
purse.
was more than Coos.
That
And we're
weekend.
gonna see them run a couple times this year when we get up to Dunkirk.
And they guaranteed it, and they paid it.
The only advantage they had is I had like 7,500 and labor.
Whatever. That's true,
And they had everything. They were able to get everybody to donate their time, and that helps. It really does.
Man, and no one showed up. That's fucked up.
It's
that's
sad.
terrible.
It really is, and how much hard effort and how much they tried. I don't get it.
But they'll go to a Stoney Roberts 300 to win.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's what bothered me the most is that more people didn't support them as drivers. That really
But
really
why?
bothered
What's
me.
What's the
And me and
something.
Brad, we begged.
That's
Like,
what
we
that's
told
what the
Beatty
original-
to come. We tried to get a lot of people to come.
We got all 5 cars there.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I was upset the guys didn't come and support them.
But who's the guys that got punished? The guys who ran, or the guys who didn't run? I mean,
It was bad. It was disheartening that they didn't support those guys trying, because I mean they were about helping the drivers, and they didn't get the support that they should have had.
I know a lot of people were complaining about that show. Tracy Young was saying that he got disqualified for a little bit of antifreeze in Cancerega. I don't 100% know the whole story, but look at the amount of cars them guys bring. I didn't. I said to Riley, why would Tracy go there? He says simply because of the power wheels in the youth derby, which I don't know how they're doing the youth derby, but his kids want to be in the youth derby and power wheels, so that's why they went there. That's what drew the attention.
My kid got second to Kenny Swingle's kid there one year in the youth derby, and there was a little spot of red antifreeze on the flap from the overflow jug.
My kid got second to your kid there.
And my kid gets disqualified because it had a spot of antifreeze on the overflow.
Kids, it's tough to do to kids.
Is it,
qualifying kids?
Yeah.
I wonder if the issue is antifreeze versus running water. I don't know.
Well, safety.
I've talked to some of the guys. I've talked to some of the guys out there in the past, but I don't know a ton of them.
That red stuff isn't flammable, right? No.
It don't matter if it's flammable or not. It's environmental.
Yeah, it's environmental.
It's all environmental.
Yeah.
Isn't
I remember-
Cancerega a racetrack?
Do you
No,
I don't
it's a
believe
fire
so.
department. It's a field. It's a baseball diamond. I mean, it's literally.
Yeah, what it is it's like
It's
out on
Cuba.
318 where they have the mud bogs.
it's
that they
basically
put on.
Cuba
It's kind of like that.
It's almost. I remember in. It's almost as cool as derbying at an airport, like in Dansville. Not quite as cool. But I remember an inspection line in Seneca County one year when there was an argument over whether it was or wasn't antifreeze or water, and one of the inspectors dipped their finger down in the knuckle and licked it. And he goes, "It's water. It's just rusty." It's like, oh, God, get out of your mind.
That was before Ben was inspecting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was, I believe, a year before Ben was inspecting. No, it wasn't that soon. But yeah, it was pretty.
What year was that, Chris?
Travis.
What's that?
It's probably Steve Travis. He's dumb enough to do it.
Bam!
Wow.
What year was that, Chris?
I don't honestly remember what year it was.
Hey,
What you doing?
it's either he's the only other one other than him, and I know Aaron Kasai and BG Madigan them wouldn't have done it.
No, you're right.
I believe they were just trying to illustrate a point whether it was rusty or not. I don't believe I don't believe it was
Brian,
a
you think back
contest
how
of-
many cars we destroyed on the Waterloo track over the years? The 4 of us.
You destroyed ours. We didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't do
right.
anything to yours.
Well, him and I were just talking about that one Newport I had down there. First time that Walburn ever seen crossbars in a car.
Made you cut them out.
Perfectly fine because Ralph Walburn comes over and says, "Ben," I'm like, "What, Ralph?" First real good car I had. He's like, "You got to cut them bars out." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not going to come out. Yeah, Mark and Harold are over there complaining to me about it. What's the first thing Mark does?
Hit you in the passenger door at 40.
I look over and here's Mark's front bumper on his wagon, like for me this far away. I'm like,
That was the weak spot on that no post Newport. And he was against the wall. Listen, it was so bad when he started driving forward. My whole front end was
I
rolling.
carried him
on top
around
of
the
his
track
tire.
because he was inside the car.
You know,
man.
my cane member
I
was
was
all the way
mad.
to his tire.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That was the first car I ran on asphalt because I took it down and ran on asphalt.
Yeah.
And got hung up in
Me and
Sammy's.
Brett got junked that night.
Yeah.
We got there and we're like, man, we're already qualified for the feature. I was. Then Brian wins the heat, and Ben wins the heat, and the other Brian wins the heat, and I'm like, uh-oh. Then Hilkert wins the heat, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Brett almost won that feature. That was all. Brett had that stock Cordoba.
It was like, 8 or 9-2.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
Wise won it.
Yeah, Wise won it with that
Come down
overbuilt
through there and
monocle.
hit him both. I was trucking.
That's what he had his monocle.
Yeah.
The door posts on that 71 Chevy wagon I had were standing straight up and down the windshield posts. I mean,
Yeah.
I bet you they hit 40 mile an hour back.
They had
to
to
back.
cut the. He had to cut that. Yeah, he and Harry hit back to back.
Yeah,
when
he had-
we were going backwards, I looked over at the grandstand and like, uh-oh.
He was going so fast. He was going so fast. The front of the car started doing
Yeah.
this.
Brett had to come over and cut a seatbelt
Well,
to get him
the
out.
thing
His
was,
seatbelt.
Yeah.
I figured I was going to drive him
That's
right
no
through the
lie.
blocks to the
Yikes.
other end.
It stopped.
Man, I swear I missed.
Wow.
Yeah, because
And two Chevy wagons, 71 to 73, I
You
tell you
know
right
what's-
now, shortened 3 feet, both of them.
Oh,
One
easily.
hit.
It was. I got it on video. It was the
Yeah.
worst
It was
shot
awesome.
I've seen.
you had to be there for that one.
It was bad.
They were going back.
That was one of the hardest hitting features.
That was the year that a young lad who had been overserved proceeded to stand up, stick a hot dog that was covered in ketchup in his back pocket, and boo everybody on the track because he was so drunk he didn't know what car was what.
His name wasn't Chris Marquardt, was it?
No,
I didn't
no,
even win
no,
the show,
no.
and I got punched in the mouth afterwards.
Yeah,
Totally
Harry's the-
deserved it.
Harry's
by,
the man.
by an old man.
Tell me that at
Was he-
Aaron's show that
Was he in
Ford
denim jacket with a
Explorer-
hot dog in his pocket?
Tell me that Ford Explorer at the junk run though.
I didn't see it. I
Oh
just
my
saw the van
God.
he hit.
I'm telling you, I've been in a lot of derbies. I don't know who the kid was. He had Riley, the kid
Cody.
there. No,
Aaron Riley?
no. Give me a minute. I think. Anyways, he had a minivan and he was against the blocks. And when that Ford Explorer come down through there and it hit second gear, I'm like, oh man.
It wasn't one of the tater tots, was it?
No tater
I don't
tots.
know who it
Was
was. He was
this-
a bigger kid.
Was this Seneca County?
No, this was a Bath Saturday.
the other
Oh,
night.
Bath
A wagon got shortened. It pushed through. It pushed the tailgate past the front or past the rear tires.
It was like scary. Like
yeah.
like
I just saw the
I'm
aftermath.
telling
Mark
you, he
told
had
me,
him
goes,
at
look at
45
this.
mile an hour, not exaggerating. I don't know how fast them Explorers shift gears, but it was like, oh my God. I'm standing there with Melanie, and I'm like,
This guy's gonna die.
he's going through the blocks. He's gonna hit me. I'm getting away. Like I'm 30 feet away on this side of the barriers, and he's coming. And I says, oh man. Hit him in the side, boom, down he goes. I'm like, is he gonna pop back up? Yep, he got back up, and away they went again.
You hit him
It was-
sideways?
Yeah, dude, it was bad. No crossbars
Well,
or nothing.
Them
That was-
Mercury Mountaineers and Explorers are the way to go.
Oh, yeah. They're tough. The front of them are
Kale and
tough.
Kyle Wilkins
Triangles.
have done some damage at Seneca County with those. I remember the one night that there was a blue Jeep Cherokee off to my left when the announcer stand, and he came down full track and hit him, and the truck took off down the track, but the leaf springs in the rear end stayed right in front of me.
Yeah.
It was
Remember
amazing.
the year Corey Lukes got sideways and
An Astro van.
Astro van, and he
cleaned
cleared it. But the rear tire
Gone.
behind was gone. Took it right
disappeared.
off.
Blew
It
the whole
gone.
ass of that Astro van right apart.
Oh, it was
Well,
bad.
it was the Wilkins that caught Nick Nicastro when he had
That
he had a
wagon?
Pontiac wagon
Yeah.
down at the front of the track, and that tailgate was no longer there.
Oh,
it
No,
was
it-
gone.
Yeah, he ruined it one shot.
That was
They're
was
the only
tremendous.
You could
families-
almost walk under the humps.
They're
yeah.
the only family I know of at one of our shows. It was all three of the brothers were out running on the track, and it came down to them three, and they put all three of them put each other in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of them broke his kneecap. It was bad.
I went-
They
I
were
ran up
mad
to-
at me.
I ran up to
They got
Seneca.
mad at me.
I ran up to Seneca County a few years ago. I'm out on the track doing
Nothing.
what I do, nothing. Well, one of them hit Terry, and he hit her hard.
Yeah.
And I says, well, this ain't gonna work very well. So I followed him back down the track, and when he started to
Shoved
slow
him up on
down,
the blocks.
boom, hit him, put him up over the blocks.
Oh, he's mad.
I mean, mad.
Mad.
Mad. I mean, I'm talking Spitfire mad. Okay.
I've seen it.
He's put it in gear.
Funny
He's,
part.
he's backing off. Ben says, get away. He's in there shaking. Down he comes. I says, that ain't going to happen. I put him back up over it again. Ben says, I told you get away. So I back up. I look, he's hopping off that, walking across track, getting somebody else's car.
Got into a four-cylinder.
What?
Got into another car trying to start it.
To get me.
But on top of that, he had his other brother jumped in the loader and was going to push the car off the block.
During the Derby.
Oh, my God.
So I'm afraid to go to the other end because I don't know what the hell. They might bring the damn roll back out. I don't know what they're doing.
Wow.
Yeah, they were mad. They were mad at me more than Brett.
How'd you do that night?
I think it come down to me and Donnie.
Poor Donnie. Second place again at Bath. He's
I
got
told
like
him he
37 second places. The
He
guy.
ain't riding with Tabitha ever again.
No?
No,
Why
that's
is
why she
that?
got second.
Yep.
Yikes.
He's probably
That's
has,
rough.
Yeah.
he
That's
probably
cruel.
has 3 dozen of them.
Oh, yeah.
Poor
Does
guy.
he does well.
He can't close it up.
He
huh?
4 years in a row. I think 2 years he took second to me, and 2 years he took second to Terry.
Wow.
And then he took who else was it? Jake
Jake
Doyle. Didn't he
Yeah,
take? Didn't
he
he
was
take
second
second
to
to Jake?
Jake. Yep.
Jake's won that like a dozen times or something.
Jake's
I don't
won
know.
Seneca County Fair full size class 4 times, and he's
How
got a
many have you
total
won?
of 7 wins. You've won it, I think, 8 times, and Ben won it 4. But Ben's asterisk is that he won his 4 consecutively.
Bam.
I suck. I only got 1.
Both classes.
Right.
That's when they
I
turned the
think
white
5
class.
of mine were
I
Wednesday
bet
night
you
shows.
Robbie Brown has a lot of them.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie's got a
I
couple.
got 4.
Yeah.
Your dad, I don't think your dad's won it as many times as
I
you
think
have.
I've only won it
4 or
twice.
5.
Yeah.
Your mom won it. I think your mom won
Twice.
it more times than your dad.
No, I
No.
only won twice.
Yeah, I
Did
think
she?
she's won
Oh,
it
I thought
twice.
she had more
Mark
than that.
is from the best Derby family there is. I'm telling you. Mark's Derby family.
Well, no, your
fucking
dad's
awesome.
got more than that, because how many times did he win it with Old Blue? You won it like 4 years in a row with Old Blue on Saturday night.
Is that the one that they just poured concrete in it from the truck, or
No.
That was a wagon. He bought it that way.
Oh right.
It was mud. It was mud from what's that
bought
big
it that
fair in Troy? It's mud from
Yeah,
the Troy
Troy
Fair.
Fair.
They had spray paint over it?
Yeah, I don't know how it fit perfectly in there.
That shocker was run like 6 times, and it was even harder than Travis's fresh shocker.
Well, he's never cheated a car.
Yeah, he's never ever.
I'm here to
ever-
tell you
Probably
right now,
started
me and him
after that.
head on at Weed Sport with them 2 Imperials. Woo-wee. I think both of our back tires come off the ground. He says, that's the hardest I've ever been hit.
Mark, did your dad run with you at Father's Day show this year?
No.
Damn. So your dad running with you every year till this year.
He's running in a few weeks.
Your dad is?
He the first Father's Day show, me and Dad got first and second. Then me and you got first and second at the next one.
Yep.
And the third one, it was me and Rob Olstrander got first and second. That was just a horrible day. It was 3 minutes in the feature. It's down to me and him. 23 minutes later, me and him still junking each other, and we got fresh cars. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tried to work a deal with him. I was like, let's split the money. I'll shut off. I'll let you win. He's like, no, I don't want to win my first show that way.
I would have.
I'm like, man.
I would have taken that all day. And he lost you.
But the funny part was he had an 88 Vic. I got a 98 02. They're both straight. We had headlight to headlight. I'm all day long for that. I
Yeah.
see him go down the track, and here he comes. It was bad. Mine's nosed up in the air, and I'm thinking, he took that home, did a little more work. So
How old is your old man?
71.
Yeah, still Derby in at 71. Your old man
crazy.
is like my
He's
hero.
going to run my Cadillac in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, but his old dad probably went out there. His old man probably went out today and cut 4 truckloads.
I'm
of
here
wood.
to tell you, I worked at County Develop for 7 years. And when I worked there, like a 60-hour week, like I'd be begging to like not work no more. And this is a God's honest truth. He'd be over 100 hours every week.
Wow.
And then you walk over when he's on his break, to his locker, because we all had our lockers. He ran a machine, and look at this, look at. He'd pull like 10 checks out, like $2,000 a piece. This is how you save money. You don't cash the checks. HR comes down and says,
He's got to start cashing the check.
No, they yelled at him.
We had a guy. I worked with a guy. He's passed away. He did the same thing. They come down and tell him, you got to start cashing your checks because you're screwing our books. You're screwing payroll up.
Yeah, he had like.
This explains so much about Mark. You were never hugged as a child.
Wait,
I was lucky. I commend to them. I mean, when I was 15, Brian knows, Ben knows. I mean, I'd go out behind the house and there'd be Grand Furies everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
What one do I want to run?
Don't even.
I mean, I kid you not. 50 of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember Mark coming to Waterloo and showing us pictures, and we've become friends with Mark, and
That were developed.
What's that?
That were developed.
Yeah, he would
film.
He
would
would
turn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he would come, and they had a junkyard, and that's where they'd store their cars. And in this junkyard, all you could see was Mopars as far until it was out of sight. I mean,
Until it got to the GMs.
Oh yeah,
They didn't even pick from.
GMs back then.
No,
Just
we were
wagons.
junking them. I mean, I had
Wagons.
I think there was like 11 wagons in that one picture.
yeah.
That's all.
The first.
No, but there was 100 shockers in the picture. 100 shockers and 11.
Rusting, you know,
Because you guys never had to run fresh ones.
No, exactly. You run the same concrete ones over and over and over. That's fine, Mark. We're all friends here. Well, the first time I ever seen Mark's dad, Mark's dad used to win a Broome County Fair like constantly, always there. And finally, when I was like 14, my dad got the stopwatch. So my dad's like, "Why don't you come right next to the track and watch me?" You know. So I'm like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be awesome." Your old man was out there in a boxcar Imperial, oval steering wheel, 6123 push button.
64.
2 inches from me like this. He hits his face off the steering wheel, and his nose starts gushing blood. And
Whitney Point.
Yeah, Whitney
I
Point.
was working that night. I got stuck on third shift, and I was new. So I couldn't.
Your old
I couldn't
man,
miss the time.
blood all over his face. He reaches down in between his things, grabs a rag, push button, backs up. Push button. He's going like this. Right in front of me. Son of a bitch wins the Derby. I remember saying, like, this is my hero right here. This guy's so badass. Face covered in blood.
My mom broke her nose at Waterloo. Remember?
She sure did.
Yeah.
My dad told her 3 times, don't restart it. She's still done it under the dash. Lenny Moore, I think
Dave
it's
Harrington.
Dave Harrington
hit her.
hit her.
76 Royal Monaco.
Yeah.
Hit her. She popped up out of the dash, and she was so mad at my dad. Because if he would have just shut up and let her try to start it instead of worrying about what the stopwatch said, none of that would have happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she ended up winning that one too.
No, she ended up second. They stopped.
She was second.
They stopped it.
Stopped
They
it.
would.
But I remember.
She won. And because your dad told her not to run, because she went out there without a radiator, and he said, you're just go out and shut off. Oh
Well,
no,
they paid
no,
$100 or something just to show up on the track.
yeah, and
that
oh no,
Monaco
she ran it
bad.
right down to the end.
Yep.
But this is the thing.
That car still had the stock dash pad in it, so it didn't even hurt that bad. But I mean,
Yeah. But this is the
That's
thing.
the only injury she's ever had in a derby.
No, I think Richie got her one time.
Hadn't
didn't
it?
I don't know. I don't
he? Down on
remember.
Blacktop.
I remember the one at
I remember that Waterloo.
The-
thing.
the-
Mom and dad ever duke it out just head to head like mom and dad just fuck, or did they?
They
did
were
have
a
a-
ruin car. I
They
don't
won
even
it?
know
I
the
don't
story.
think so.
No.
Yeah, Josh, they call that Thanksgiving.
There's 2 quick stories I got to tell though. One,
We do need to start getting out of here.
is
We got
Mark will agree that Betty, I feel Betty was the best driver out of the family because she never got mad. When Mark gets mad, you can tell. You look at him and you can tell in his eyes. Mark and Harold have the same temper. When they get mad, they will junk stuff. And
Those days are gone though.
besides
Not caring.
that,
My girlfriend's the calm driver now. She go out there and just drive, you know what I mean, and she don't.
Kind of like me.
The funniest Mark Benjamin story I have is Mark. I don't even know if he was of age yet, but Mark and his dad went to Trumansburg, and Mark got hit by his father and tipped over on his side, and that's how they ended the feature. Betty was livid that her baby boy Mark got tipped over by Harold. He was in. I'm not lying though. Mark will attest. Betty was livid that Harold had tipped Mark over.
It was funny because I borrowed my buddy's car to run the Consi, and my dad ran my car to run the Consi, and then he dumps me on my lid with my.
Yeah, that's how it ended.
You're
1,
an only
2.
kid, Mark. No brothers, no sisters.
No, that's me.
Man, you lucky son.
It's probably for the best.
That's
You've gone
why
through
it's
those.
got a
You've
lot of
gone through
money.
the shockers
Yeah,
places fast.
Mark's
Yeah, Mark is loaded.
You know it was bad. I say, hey, grab a set of poker cards on your way up here. 6 months later, where's my $3.76?
Oh my, Mark, yes, you are. Whatever.
All right, we got to get out of here. The golf show's coming up at 8:00. We got to get cleaned up to turn the studio over. Ben, a ton of fun. Thanks a lot for Vic Whaley coming on. Congratulations again for the win there. Mark, congratulations on the win. Brett, also congratulations on picking up the mod win down there at Summer Smash. Awesome that you guys could make the trip up. Josh, good to see you again. I anticipate we'll see you again in 6 months.
Yeah, September-ish.
And
Wizard Bash.
Ben, Brian, always good to see you. That's going to do it for this episode of the Crash Course Podcast. We will not be back here again next week. We're going to be out of town, so it's going to be 2 weeks before you get to see everybody, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot, and we will see you next time.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. The 2015 Wadena Grand Slam. Bo Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone National. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Masters. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.